terrific guy in Wayne's World.
Welcome back to GoPACSports.com and Media Day Live. We're joined by defensive coordinator Bob Shoop. Coach, let's first talk a little baseball. Stretch run of the season. Pirates won 7-5 last night, but thoughts on the races in the divisions? You were just talking about the Mets off camera a little bit. Concerned about the Pirates at all, or you think it'll be okay?
I'm not going to talk Mets. You got to talk to John Donovan about the Mets. But it was a good win last night, and I think everybody in Pittsburgh and everybody who's a Pirates fan, people in Buck Nation, are looking forward to this weekend. A great 3-game series against the Dodgers, and it doesn't get a whole lot better than Garrett Cole and Clayton Kershaw tomorrow night at PNC. I tried to get practice moved up to noon so that you and I can go, but Coach wasn't biting on that one. So.
Well, let's talk defense. Let's begin up front. Those two guys in the middle, they've been talked about a lot, but how do they complement one another? Anthony Zettel, Austin Johnson, they're two very unique guys, but how do they complement each other on the field and off the field? In
a 4-3 scheme, they're prototypical 1 technique, 3 technique. You know, Anthony's a 3 technique. He's got great twitch. He's very disruptive. It's very unusual to have a guy who leads your team in tackles for lost sacks. Oh yeah, and interceptions too, but that's the type of athlete he is, and that's been well documented, what a unique athlete he is. And Austin Johnson just had a great winter. He's a beast, 315 pounds, moves like he does. He's a prototypical NFL D tackle who, if he has the type of year he's capable of doing, you know, we think he should be an upper-level Big Ten player this year.
Where do you think Carl Nassib is going to go in terms of his growth? He seems like the type of guy that's really knocking on the door of breaking out.
Absolutely. So excited. He's waited his turn. I think I told you early on in winter program, Carl came up to me and shut the door in my office and said, "Hey, Coach, invest in me. It's a good investment." And we have. And he had a great spring. If you did productivity per play last year, he may have been one of our most productive players. And we're really looking forward to he and Garrett Sickles, along with Evan Schwan, you know, along with Curtis Cothran, and along with Torrance Brown, you know, doing a great job at the defensive end position.
You just rattled off a number of names, but even including the interior guys in terms of backups, that depth on that defensive line has to give you a lot of excitement heading into the season.
I was just asked recently about how Austin and Anthony will be improved this year, and one of the things I think they'll be improved because we're more excited about the guys inside. Parker and Taro have taken the next step, and we'll probably play them more snaps, which can keep Austin and AJ, you know, fresher and be able to put them in the game in a critical 3rd down or in the 4th quarter in a 2-minute situation. And some of those games that were maybe, you know, close losses last year, maybe that'll translate into a little bit more success.
On the flip side, too, Coach was just talking about how iron sharpens iron. When you have an offensive line with 4 returning starters this year as opposed to only 1 last year, how does that help a defensive line grow during camp and leading up to a season?
At all positions, offensive and defensive line competing on a daily basis. You know, linebackers and running backs, safeties and tight ends and wide receivers and corners and the wide receivers. I think that's one of the things, you know, when you know our core values, one of our prime core values is compete in everything you do. And if you come watch a Penn State football practice, it's extremely competitive. And we're looking forward to, you know, to teaching this week, but at the same time, when we go against the offense, it'll be extremely competitive. And that's part of the fun of practice.
At the linebacker position, obviously no secret that Mike Hall's not here, but Naeem Mortman, Brandon Bell, and when you look at the growth of Jason Kabinda and number of guys behind them, what excites you about that group?
At the inside backers, I mean, it's kind of an interchangeable parts group there. I mean, Naeem's moved from Will to Mike, and you know, really excited. He's embraced that move. He's really become the quarterback of the defense. He's got a high football IQ, and he was a very productive player last year for us. Gary Wooten and Ben Klein also play the Mike. I think everybody, there's nobody that's not a fan of Ben Klein, what he does for this university and this program. He's a Rhodes Scholar candidate. He's very philanthropic, heads the uplifting athletes. We're really excited. He scraped the rust off this spring, and we're looking forward to him having the type of senior year he wants to have. And at the will, really, with Jason Kabinda and Troy Reeder, you have 2 of the more highly recruited players in last year's class. Kabinda played, Reeder redshirted, and we're excited to see all those guys. And at the field linebacker position, certainly Brandon Bell had an exceptional 2014, and we're looking for him to build on that. But Vaughn Walker and Koa Farmer are guys that provide depth at that position and should be ready to contribute a little bit more this year.
In the secondary, moving Jordan Lucas to safety, but in terms of overall depth and the way that unit kind of functions as one, what can you say about that group? On paper, it looks like it's going to be a great year for them.
Yeah, the move of Jordan to safety had to do with, I think that's in his best interest, and I think at the next level he can be a really, you know, unique player at the next level because he has so much versatility, somewhat like Adrian Amos. He can He's played corner, he can play safety, he can play the nickel, he can play the dime, and he gives us an aspect of coverage at that position, that's exciting to me. But really it had a lot to do also with getting the best 4 players on the field, and that's what we want to do. And Trevor Williams and Grant Haley are very talented players at corner. Marcus and Jordan give us as good a group at safety as there should be, an upper level group in the Big Ten for sure. And at the corner position, there's really good depth. I mean, Amani Aruye and Christian Campbell are good young players who are highly recruited. Christian had an interception against Temple last year. And in this year's freshman class, I know Garrett Taylor and John Reed are coming with the idea that they're going to compete for playing time. Malik Golden's a veteran at the strong safety backing up Jordan, who had a great spring, had 2 interceptions, a big pass breakup in the spring game. And Troy Apke, who backs up Marcus Allen, is one of the fastest guys on the team. So I'm looking forward to watching him as well.
Finally, let's wrap up with, had a phenomenal year last year defensively. What's the next step for this group? What are you hoping to see out of this team as you get ready for another season?
It's weird, and I've been thinking about that, and we made clear to the guys when we met with them this morning that this isn't the 2014 defense, it's not the 2016 defense, this is the 2015 defense. So, there's a standard that's been set as far as Penn State defenses, not just last year, but in the past, and the expectations are always very high here. And as I've said again and again and again, we're an in-your-face style that's built on relentless pursuit, it's built on never-ending pressure, and we came here to be a championship caliber defense, so that's the expectation level. But each unit develops its own identity, and the identity of this one is kind of fluid at this time. It's ever evolving, and I'm looking forward to see the direction it goes. There's a lot of potential here, and I'm looking forward to see how we practice and string in some really good practices along the way.
Coach, we greatly appreciate your time. Thanks for the insight.
Thank you.
We'll be right back on GoPACSports.com, Media Day Live, with a host of student-athlete interviews. But before that, we want to give you a sneak peek at a video board shoot that you're going to see in Beaver Stadium. So take a look at a green screen, behind-the-scenes look with the Nittany Lions.